Now, this program, and I've shared it many times with the audience as well, that actually it's targeted for the youth, and the idea is because we are known to the rest of the world as a Chedengi Gekhabla. But then if we were to ask a high school student what is the Temba Gitzebachuni or what are the Four Noble Truths, then they'll be scratching their heads and they don't even know that. So, and similarly, all of the things that Rinpoche is sharing today can be taken as instructions. But my next question to Rinpoche is youth related, in a sense that I myself, growing up in Bhutan, have been confused with the fact that before, I guess, at every point in life, it is confusing, but before there was no internet and no television. And now the confusion in so many sense, and many people agree that the youth are even more confused because of the internet and because of the television. And many of our youth, especially in the urban centers, are now getting into substance abuse as well. So any advice that Rinpoche can give to the youth of Bhutan and the rest of the world as well?
Now, as you have just mentioned, the youth is actually a very, what I really think is that it's a very, very subtle and a very, how would you describe this, fragile issue. A youth, I cannot speak like as if I'm a very old senior person, but as I am only 21 years old, but what I feel and think is that nowadays the really younger generations are really going through what I like to call tearing apart. What is tearing apart? It's the major modernization technology world, and the world that we live in the really traditional world that we live in. So in that compartment, like a really tight sort of situation, I feel that the youth are going through the tearing of these two major powers. We're tearing them mentally, not physically, but literally, but mentally sort of tearing them apart. They're not really sure either they should follow totally into the modern world or totally in the traditional world, because both seem to have a certain level of sort of, how to say, knowledge for them. Both seem to be needed in their life and in their society. But they go more for the modern world, because the modern world seems to be very appealing, really giving a lot of hope. The traditional world, as I can understand, is sort of more of a subtle thing, saying that there are systems, you follow a system, be quiet, no more questions, finish. So for them, that's sort of like, why are we supposed to do all of this? We don't know the meaning, I don't see the meaning, it does not help me, it's not really helping my personal life, so what is the point of doing it? It's totally understandable actually in a way. But the sad part is that now that is becoming more of a really extreme point, that the younger generations now are getting more into the drug usage and lots of how to say, intoxications. The one thing I feel is that I feel very sorry. I feel very as if that this is our responsibility as a Buddhist, especially not just Buddhism, but especially a Vajrayana country such as Bhutan. The teachers, we have so many great teachers in Bhutan, such as Nangpa Nyingpo, Dzongsa Khyentse Rinpoche, and Jamji Dunju Rinpoche, and Jekhyampa Rinpoche, and the 5 Philippines from the Dzong. It's really our responsibility to really, think about the youth. And I know nowadays there are teachers who are thinking about it. They're really acting it and really putting the effort to help them. And I feel personally it is my responsibility, but until now I have never put so much effort in this. And now I really feel I feel deeply that I failed the youth. It's my work to help them, but I was not able to, and I have failed them. I have become a failure. So, in one reason is that I feel this is our responsibility, but another reason is I think is a responsibility of the child taker, or how to say, caretaker, yes. Parents, friends, guardian, teachers. So, I feel there is a huge, I wouldn't say a problem, but I would say a huge misunderstanding and confusion going on this. Yes. So I really feel there could be something could be done on that.
Any words of advice that Rinpoche can offer to, although it's difficult to give advice because it's different people might have different reasons to be abusing substance, but say if I was a youth and I came to Rinpoche's presence and I have a problem of substance abuse, what advice would Rinpoche give me?
Especially now, as yourself, Kamadundrum, has just mentioned, yes. If you were a youth and came to me for that, yes. If I be really honest, yes. My answer will be, I really don't know. Yes. Because I feel so bad actually to say it, but it is honesty that I have to speak. If I had gone through this problem, I would give the best of the best solution and answer. Yes. But since I haven't gone through this, yes. I have no clue to say anything. I really don't have anything to say. I don't know actually. But what in my own little way I can imagine and get a little idea, yes. I think what I would say is never to lose hope. Yes. Never to lose hope. That's what I would say.
I think because like Rinpoche shared right now, never lose hope. It goes along with what Rinpoche was sharing in RTC as well. And I have a follow-up question later on related to now youth committing suicide as well. And I think that's a profound message that our youth can take, that Rinpoche, first of all, being honest and sharing that Rinpoche does not know, and then Rinpoche going on to say that. Because I think so much of the problem that the youth face now making youth-related programs and documentaries is that they look at life and problems as not fixable, as now this is the dead end, now it cannot be fixed, and they lose hope, and thus they get into substance abuse as well. Similarly, a message about youth, I think, although the answer might be similar, but about youth who are frustrated, because all of these problems, the questions that I have formed for Rinpoche are kind of related, like Buddhism shares, everything is interrelated. So the next question is about youth who might be watching this program sitting at home. They must have maybe just completed their graduation, or some did not qualify for college after class 12, and they are frustrated because they are not employed. So any words of advice that Rinpoche can offer to youth who are frustrated and unemployed?
Okay, thank you so much.